All right. What's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. I said it was Tuesday yesterday, but it's Tuesday today. I'm just trying to get to my vacation. Uh, how is your Tuesday? Let me know. Where you guys at? We should start asking where are my viewers at? Where are you guys at? East Coast, West Coast? You're in the warehouse working? I'm glad I can provide some entertainment, maybe. Glad I can do that. Over here chilling. North of North. North of North. Are you in Canada? That's what I think of north of North. All right, so subject is going to be the same today. Seemed like people were interested in that, so we're going to stick to having people come in here and prove. Oh, you're going to be in Alaska and prove their guy. We're going to be a little tougher today. I do things in increments. The first time I speak to somebody, I'm a little bit more relaxed, more calm, and then we talk twice. I'm a little more on you, and then by the third time, I'm like really on you. Uh, and it all depends off of our first conversation because we are all about telling the truth here and admitting when we cannot prove something. There was a comment somebody left on the video that was said, asking for evidence. I'm sorry, was it? Yeah, asking for evidence of the unfalsifiable, clever move or something like that. But technically, that is the point of why I'm asking for that evidence. Because if you yourself believe something that's unfalsifiable, your first thing should just be like, well, there's no way I have any evidence. A lot of people don't like to say that because then you will have to admit that you have a belief that is what I would say ridiculous. And that's okay to me. Like we talked about this plenty of times. There's many of us that have beliefs that are ridiculous. Some people believe that their spouse would never cheat on them. That might be ridiculous. Some people think that their kids would never get in trouble, or sorry, are always being good. That's ridiculous, right? Excuse me. There's so many ridiculous things that we believe in. It seems that God is a very touchy subject. Like, don't you touch my belief in God. My feelings are hurt. And that's what I can't stand. I know I can't stand that. My feelings are hurt because you're talking about my God. Until somebody shows me who they are, or they can chill. If if whoever can behave themselves, we'll go with that. And if other things happen, then they'll be gone. Just like the Bible is racist. I mean, honestly, I'll talk to you, by the way. Like, I talk to racist people because I think it's one of the most ridiculous things you can be. It's almost on the same level as uh, believing in the Christian God. So it's pretty out there. I don't know. Being racist is it's just as ridiculous as believing that this book is true. The only evidence that I notice that people have for God is not really evidence. It's what we don't know. God of the gaps. Most of the time it's that. And if it's an anecdote, I'm okay with anecdotes. Everybody has their own experiences. I never take that away from anybody. If you've experienced something, it I don't think anyone can tell you didn't experience it. So I get it, but we would have to admit that whatever experience you have, there are other people that have had experiences also, but it takes them to a different God. So what does that mean? Hey, good evening. All right, so let's see. Nobody in the waiting box at the moment. If you do want to step up, uh, all you gotta do. Oh, crap, I can't type. I don't know how long we're going today. So, Need to get some videos out for tomorrow. I don't have any videos ready. All right, we do got somebody waiting. There is a dim, so we're gonna have somebody right away. Cool. That's what I like. All right, let me pop this out. That sounded kind of freaky. Let me pop this out. And we got dim with a Canadian flag, it looks like. How you doing? You might need to fix your microphone input. All right, just message me in the chat when you think you're ready. All right. We had some people with issues yesterday. I'm finding that Discord's a little tough for some people, you know. But like Discord's weird. Excuse me, Discord can be weird. So, not gonna lie. I keep saying I'm gonna get my TikTok going, and part of me just doesn't do it. And I said, you need 1,000. I got to redo my 1,000 subs just so I can stream on TikTok too and do dual streams. But all right, let me give Dim one more shot, and then we have somebody else here too. But I want to give hello. All right, Dim. We'll check you later. We got not PF. I don't know what this means. All right, let's see. What's up?
Yo,
Hey, what up, man?
man. I just wanted to tell you that you're being restreamed by a known pedophile, Rational Potato, or Potato of Life in your chat right now. You could just look up Thomas Stahl, Katie Style, Tim Dooley. You'll be able to find whatever you want on him. He thinks he's God, but he really isn't. He's just a pedophile. Just wanted to let you know, man, because he brings nothing but darkness and negativity to any sort of community he comes to.
Well, thanks for the warning. All right, man.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, just ban him and get rid of him. You don't want anything to do with him.
All right, I'm gonna look into it. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. All right. Somebody thinks he's God. That's interesting. I don't even see them chatting anymore. Maybe they left. All right. Well, we had Dim. Let me see. Oh, Dim sent a message. Oh, that's they were talking about to say what? Oh, wow. You guys sent information and everything. Damn, man. What kind of reputation you got over there, man? All right. Thanks for the lookout. Yeah, that was two people that talking about this potato person. But yeah, all right, let's see if we can get somebody up for the actual discussion. All right, so same topic as yesterday again. There were some interesting conversations yesterday with our new Mormon friend and our ex hip hop legend friend. So if they get back in here, I got some questions for them. We'll see if they come back or not. They did say they'd come back, and I take everybody for their word until proven otherwise. So, in the meantime, if we have anyone else that wants to come up and, I don't know, just say whatever. Guess you don't necessarily have to be on the opposite side. can kind of just share your thoughts. We can take some of those too until we get somebody that wants to have an argument. Not supposed to use the word argument. Let's see. And as always, don't forget to throw away your feelings as we start this stream. Open your minds, and we will question your beliefs. We will do that. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you have a belief that you refuse to question, you're part of the problem. Don't forget to click your buttons. Check out what is the latest video? I don't know. I make too many videos. You've seen UFOs? I mean, I guess I feel like a lot of people have seen UFOs if we're kind of actually going by the definition and not by what pop culture says, right? Being a Mormon should be a disqualifier. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? What's funny is that you look at Christianity and technically, and I don't think Mormonism is true either, but technically Mormonism would have closer or more evidence as far as what we would know, right? Because it's closer to our time period. Oh, we got Dim back in here. Let's see what Dim wanted to say. Hello.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? Hey, I got my.
There it goes.
PKFC came in here and told you before that the Potato of Life is restreaming your stream. He is a known pedophile and child groomer, and he's gonna try and latch on to anybody in your community that he can, and then he'll end up abusing them. So it's probably best to just ban him now.
Yeah, I don't even see him anymore.
I still see him. He's up there. It's probably just best to ban him just outright. Otherwise, he's gonna try and talk to people in your community and try and get them to join his grooming Discord server where he gets a bunch of other pedophiles in there, and then they try and get children in there. It's really gross.
How do you guys know about this person? He's just been floating around?
Well, we know about him because he live streams 18 hours a day, and we're kind of in this community where we watch him and make sure that anyone that he does try and latch on to. See, we have a whole like GitHub page where we document everything he does.
Yeah, I saw your link. That was you linked something. Yeah.
Yeah, yep, the GitHub that's documented every crime he's done in real life. You know, he's a horrible person in real life. He went to prison for threatening to murder a baby and the mother. He threatened to knife a baby to death and went to prison for it. And then he also beat up his ex-girlfriend. He punched her in the face, and then when she fell over, he kicked her in the ribs. And there's a police report on that. That's all documented by the police. And he's just a really bad guy, so it's just best to just get rid of him.
Hey. All right.
And he's gonna try and tell you that he's God and all this stuff.
Yeah, he did say he is God. He did say that. He did say that.
He's crazy.
He did say
makes
that.
up all these like really, really insane things.
All right, man. I hear you.
All right, man.
All right.
Good one.
Yeah, thanks, brother. All right. We're getting off to an interesting start. That's all I can say. He did come in here and say he was God. That's what's interesting. That was one of the first comments. So that's interesting. And I saw the link that you sent with the GitHub. Like, you guys have a whole GitHub on this person. That's kind of crazy. All right. He's like God because he's also evil. I mean, maybe we'll just start with that. I think it's what was I? Who was I? I was talking to. I talk about this stuff all the time, guys. So if you know me, you know I talk about this constantly. So I don't just come on stream and talk about this shit. I talk about it in real life too, because it the whole God thing doesn't make sense to me at all. Are the gods that we know, right? I will never say that I don't think there is a God. I just will say all the gods that we have made up probably aren't even close to, if there's a God, what it would be like, right? And I don't understand how people can see and read the Bible, not see the Bible, read the Bible and not see how horrible of a character God is. Like, the character is horrible, man. And once I realized that, I still did believe for a long time that God was still the God. I just was making excuses as far as, well, I just don't understand the Bible. But then that is a defeater right there, because when you read the Bible, it says that God is trying to speak to us, and then you're told the Bible is the word of God, inspired by God. So then you can't really use that excuse. So now that's another layer that got knocked down, because I'm always going to be honest about it. So then my next hanging on was Jesus, right? So it's just like, oh, well, maybe Jesus was trying to help us, and the Bible was like evil, but New Testament is not evil. And I think you see that transition with many people, is like, they're like, okay, Old Testament shit. The Old Testament is shit. Anybody that wants to defend the Old Testament, you might just be a shitty person. And the New Testament isn't that great either, because it doesn't really do anything about the Old Testament. But I get it. Like, New Testament, it's like a fairy tale. It tries to fix many of the things, but that was my last layer. And then I'm like, well, shoot, Jesus, even like, slavery was a big thing for me. The fact that what I was told is the most perfect person to ever walk the earth didn't condemn slavery. That one was tough for me. That was pretty tough. And there is no excuse. And so I was going to say, like, there's no apologetic that I've heard that fixes that. And it's just because there is not one. You have the Son of God coming to save everyone, but does not condemn one of the things that most of us agree right now, or at least would agree in public. There are people that still think slavery is okay. They just don't say that shit in public unless you're our president. I'm just kidding. President doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Yeah. But anyways, like, it's just like, that is a tough one, man. And that should make every believer think, instead of making excuses for slavery, because no, the bullshit excuse that slavery was different back then is a bullshit excuse. And your first clue is, guess what God does? Guess what God does? God frees his people from bondage, from slavery. So obviously slavery was not a good thing. Otherwise, why is God rescuing his people? Second part, why does God distinguish how you treat your own people compared to the foreigners? It's because slavery is bad. You don't want your own people in slavery. And then you have this other thing, like this is how you treat your people. Right? So it's so obvious. The slavery thing gets me. If you defend slavery, I would love to talk to you, but I think there's some even if you're black, by the way, black people can be racist too. So that's like a weird thing people don't realize, I guess. But you might be a racist. If you don't realize the Bible has slavery in it and defends slavery, I don't know. You just I don't know. Maybe it's not racist. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess something's wrong with you. That's all I gotta say. Something's wrong with you. It's just all I gotta say. And in fact, anybody that wants to defend Bible slavery, come on up. That's the next subject. Let's go. So if you want to defend Bible slavery, come on up. Let's see what's up. Because you're only going to have two excuses, really. Maybe one. I think it's just one. You're going to say slavery was indentured servitude. That shit is not in the Bible. Slavery means slavery. Servant means servant in a way. Slave is different. There's a reason why you can pass on the slave to your child as property for life. That's not a servant. It's not a fucking servant. I get hot on this slavery topic because I can't stand it. Like I said, racism is up there with believing an all-powerful, all-loving God doesn't show its face. It's up there. You are just as ridiculous. If you you are just as ridiculous. I swear, you are just as fucking ridiculous. Like racism, slavery, it's so fucking stupid, so dumb. I'll randomly get. It's weird. I mean, it's not weird. I expect it. I randomly get my little racist comments in my videos. It's just like, man, we're still doing that. Fuck. Yeah, I think when people say that, they're just repeating what they heard. I mean, we toss around the word slavery, but I think we're doing a disservice. Like people say we're in slavery right now. I don't think we truly understand what actual slavery was like, even though it was only a few generations ago. We forget so fast, like the shit that was going on in slavery in the name of God. And I'm talking about American slavery right now. It was hell, like literal hell on earth, while telling the people that you're torturing that this book is, this book is from God for them, right? The slavery Bible and all of that. Like slavery was literal hell, like literal hell with God's name on it. And God never came down to the Americans and said, hey, this is wrong. It's like God didn't show up. God showed up for, God showed up in Egypt. God showed up in Egypt. God didn't show up in America. Oh, I wonder why. Because all of a sudden, all miracles stopped once we were able to record history, I guess. Not record history, but once we started paying attention to biblical stuff, all of the miracles just stopped. Oh, yeah, I like that one. Did they answer their prayer? He answered the prayer of the slave owners for about 300 years. Potato, how you get back in here? I could have swore it took you. How you get back in here? Hey, Potato, I'm going to ask you a serious question. You have to be completely honest. If you're not honest, I'm kicking you. All right? This is your one shot. Is what they said about you true at all? And I have a link, by the way. So if this is you, you better be honest. All right, you said it. I'm good. All right. You did what they said, so I'm just gonna boot you, man. Let's see. You did you did exactly what it said. All right. You did exactly what they said you were gonna do. Like, hold on. How do I get you out of you tricking me, bro? Oh, that's why. Hold on. My bad. I know what to do. You didn't answer my question. I gave you one shot. Too late. All right, who wants to step up and have a conversation? Let me know. I mean, the God claim I'm not worried about. All right, there you go. Come back when you want to tell the truth, man. It's all right. No, he's in 24-hour timeout at the moment. All right. Like I said, I give people the chance to be honest. That's all I ask here is to be honest. It is one of the easiest things to be honest over the internet. So I actually get upset when you're not honest over the damn screen. You can be honest over this damn screen. You almost can share anything over the screen. You can admit that your belief in God might be ridiculous over the screen. We can be honest, guys. That if you get anything out of my channel, if you're a believer or not, it is being honest. And I say that because no matter what, you can't get rid of all the believers. You can't get rid of all the non-believers. So we need to figure out a place to meet. And that's reality, right? When you're at home, you can do all your unbelievable stuff, believe everything, light your candles, do all those kind of things. But when we go out into the world, if you can't prove your superstitious shit, leave it to yourself, please. Leave it to yourself. And if you can prove it, come prove it. Honestly, if anybody, I know you guys heard of James Randi, awesome person, obviously not around anymore. I loved what he was doing, man. He was a magician that said, well, I don't like how y'all are actually tricking people. Magic is supposed to be fun. Everybody knows they're being tricked. And the fun about magic is that just that feeling and mystery. But he also was like that you don't use that to control people. And that's what I loved about that man. And the fact that he literally put money up for anyone to prove him wrong and no one could prove him wrong is one of the biggest signs of a lot of this, or all this shit's bullshit at the moment. Well, the Bible, I see you guys talking about women. That's another hint that this was just written by people. Why aren't there women writers in the Bible? Why? Oh, because women couldn't do shit. Like really, not one woman writer. Crazy. All right, we got somebody coming up. Never mind, they left. Okay. But yeah, like it's so obvious, man. What female prophet in the Bible? I'm honestly, that's a real question. Is that true? Female prophet? What? Are you messing with me? Oh, you talk, man. These are like little excerpts, bro. You talking about Deborah, uh, Isaiah's wife? Yeah, okay. They have little. To be fair, like I said, I'll be fair about it. I know what you're talking about. There's like little snippets of women catering to the men. All right, I'll give it that to you. I guess that's fine. All right, we got Bible Basher. He's back. All right, what's up, brother? We got Bible Basher. Oh, I got an echo. I got an echo going. You got to turn me off over there.
Is that better?
Yeah, we're good. Let me update my thing here. Hold up. How's it going today, man?
Going good.
Good. All right, what you got? Let's get started. What you got?
Let's get started. So did you see the message I sent you or no?
Let me look at it right now. All right, I got it right here. All right. You're going to defend God in three ways: logically, historically, and witnesses.
Yeah, based on evidence is the third way.
Evidence. Well, yeah. Witnesses.
Just like visible evidences.
All right. First, though, I have a question for you.
Okay, got an answer.
We're gonna hold on. Why is your name popping up in here? Hold up. Yeah. Did I do something? How was your day, by the way?
Day's good. Just got back from work.
Yeah, man, I had to work too. And that's some bullshit. All right, here we go. All right, there you go. Now you're on the screen. All right, first question. So we were talking about Joseph Smith prophecies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like why that you tricked me with that Bible basher name. That's funny. I like it. You, how many people you trick with that, by the way?
I don't know. I thought it was obvious that I bashed with the Bible.
Nah, I figured it out too, but it's still funny. I feel like if you don't read it correctly, it's different. All right. So, let's see. Hold on. Where was it? A note here. All right. So this one, it says about the Missouri Temple. There's a prophet. All right. So you know it. Obviously, you know it. All right.
Yes,
So
I do.
All right, so it has a Missouri temple, and it says the claim was said that Joseph Smith said the New Jerusalem and temple would be built in Missouri, and the temple would be reared in this generation. Is that cool?
Yes, that's the correct story.
All right. So the temple was not built in Jackson County, Missouri, in Joseph Smith's generation. That's true?
That's correct.
So, false prophecy, right?
Okay. Let me say a note for all the Christians that are in the chat. Because I have an argument that works against Christians. It won't work against atheists or anyone else, but it works against Christians. So,
well, hold on. Are we answering this question?
Yeah, I'll answer it in two different ways. One's for the Christians, one's for you.
All right.
So for all the Christians out there, Jesus Christ did say, he prophesied that these things will come about within this generation. And that's in the book of Matthew, where he quotes a whole chapter of all these apocalyptic things. Many of those things have not come to pass. And so, from a Christian worldview, I would defend Joseph Smith by saying if Joseph Smith is a false prophet for prophesying of things coming about in a generation that didn't come to pass, then Jesus Christ would also be considered a false prophet.
Oh,
So that works out
I believe that. I believe that, though. Yes. No, I believe that Jesus was wrong. I'm not going to say lied. Maybe he really did believe that because I think Jesus was real person. So I think Jesus was obviously wrong. You agree with that part, right?
Yeah, those things didn't come to pass literally in that generation.
Cool. So now let's jump on to Joseph Smith. Go ahead.
Jump onto Joseph Smith. So the Latter-day Saint understanding of a temple is it's a place where you have to be holy and worthy to enter. Back in the biblical days, only the high priest was allowed to enter. Not everyone was allowed. And so this is just some background to my explanation for it.
Okay.
Basically, in order to have a temple, you need to have people who are holy and worthy to enter the temple. And the saints at that time in Jackson County, Missouri, were not following the law of God. And so God revoked his blessing of them having the opportunity of having a temple there. And that's how I'd explain that. And it's probably not proof or evidence for you.
But it doesn't say that, like, it doesn't give it's not like a prophecy, like if you do this, this happens. It was a prophecy that this will happen.
It doesn't say that, but it does say a few chapters later in the Doctrine and Covenants that God is revoking his blessings because they were wicked. And then after he gave that revelation that he was revoking his blessing because they were not building the temple and doing the things that he told them to do, after that they were kicked out of Missouri.
Okay. So
it is a little interesting to point out.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
It's a little interesting to point out that Joseph Smith received a revelation that the blessings were being revoked before they were kicked out of Missouri and they weren't able to build the temple. It's kind of like Joseph Smith knew that they wouldn't be able to build it before it became impossible to do so.
Can we count this as a failed prophecy?
I would count that as a conditional prophecy, and that's why I don't see it as failed.
That's tough, man. I brought you one, bro.
Yes,
and remember what I said. I said as soon as I bring you one, you're going to tell me there's some weird reason, which is the same thing. If you were a Christian, you would have told me the same thing about Jesus.
Out of all the ones that I've heard of, that's probably one of the two strongest alleged false prophecies of Joseph Smith.
Why do you say alleged?
Because based off of my interpretation, they're not false.
Is there? I'm curious. Like, is there something that's going to happen to you if you say he was wrong? Do you feel that? Is there like a fear?
No one knows who I am. This is a private.
No. I meant like no. I'm into like God. Like, do you feel like there's like a fear that's like, well, if I admit that, then I don't know.
No, if I thought it, God would know. He knows my heart.
Okay, you're with me on that. Cool.
Anything to him.
No, that's fair. Okay. Because I don't think you can lie to God, which is why I just say what I say. It just doesn't make sense. If there's a God, I don't know. I just me. All right. I still think that I feel like that should count, bro. If we're being cordial here.
Yes, that definitely counts.
Like if you were trying to convince me to join LDS, and you were saying prophecies was a big thing, I would be like, hold up. Because when I think of a prophet, I'm thinking of perfect. Otherwise, why is there prophecies if you can be wrong?
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, and that's a reasonable thing to bring up.
All right, so let's see another one here. Salem treasure prophecy. What's that? What's that one?
I don't know it by that name.
All right, so here's the claim. It says DNC 111. I don't know what DNC is, by the way.
That's just a book of scripture we have.
Okay. So Joseph Smith and other leaders went to Salem, Massachusetts, because they had, they heard large amount of money might be available. The official LDS heading says the church was heavily in debt. They went to investigate the claim, and when no money was forthcoming, they returned to Kirkland. So it says, I have much treasure in the city for you, and says many people would be gathered from Salem. So basically saying that the prophecy was there was supposed to be treasure there, and when they went to go check it out, there was not any.
Okay. So that story, as far as I'm aware, Joseph Smith never received a revelation that there was treasure. He just assumed that there would be based off of reports and stuff. And so they went hoping to find it. But
So,
there's no revelation from Joseph Smith that said there is gold or silver buried in this basement or whatever.
what if he had found it?
Then cool, the church would have gotten out of debt earlier.
Well, I mean, would you be now saying that this was true, right? That's kind of why I'm saying that.
Well, no, I still wouldn't say that it was a prophecy because that wasn't specifically said. I'd say it's an awesome blessing and a miracle, but I wouldn't say that it was a fulfilled prophecy.
You wouldn't count that as a prophecy. Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, the last prophet of our church, his name is Russell M. Nelson. He implemented a huge program basically saying, hey, we as a church need to focus on preaching the gospel at home. And so we...
Why do you guys call it the gospel?
Sorry?
Why do you call it the gospel if it's like, I guess I don't know enough. Like, isn't it, you're not preaching what Jesus said, because Jesus didn't say anything about Joseph Smith.
Well, gospel, I just basically say, is the teachings of Jesus Christ in the most broad definition of the word.
But can you be teaching Jesus Christ's teachings if Joseph Smith is the prophet and Jesus never said that?
Well, Jesus never said that in the Bible.
Like Joseph Smith would be a prophet?
Well, Jesus doesn't have to say something for it to be a part of the gospel. Like, Jesus never says that Isaiah was a prophet.
So how do you know, how do you know Joseph Smith was a prophet? Like, is it just because he said so, and then there's some things that he did that you just equate to God?
Do we want to jump straight into my 3 defenses for the Latter-day Saint view of God?
Does that include this answer?
Yeah, I think
I'm curious. I'm really curious. That's why I'm curious.
And Joseph Smith is a prophet.
Hey, did you say David Patton? Who's that?
I didn't mention David Patton, but he's a cool guy in church history.
And then before I let you get going and we get into this, did you give me a good reason for the curse of Ham thing yesterday?
The curse of yeah, I'll bring up both of those. Curse of Ham, I just brought up, it was a part of Protestant culture that was adopted into Latter-day Saint culture. As far as I'm aware, there was no
when did it change, I guess, and how did it change?
And it changed when the first presidency and the Quorum of the 12 Apostles all unitedly decided to change that, because that's how doctrine is established in our church, is by the united voice of the Quorum of the 12 and the first presidency. And so that's when the, I guess, policy on African Americans being able to receive the priesthood was reversed.
Is that from God, or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, we believe those men are all called of God, and for it to become official church policy or official church doctrine, it's when they are all united in the same belief, I guess you could say.
So did God change his mind?
No, God didn't change his mind.
I mean, that sounds like a change of the mind, though, right? So, all right. So here's the way I look at it. So either God changed his mind, and then we'd have another conversation, or people decided to change the mind of God for God. If we're saying this is all God, right?
Okay, let me use this analogy.
Okay.
When I have kids one day, I'm going to say, hey, you're not allowed to go on dates. You're not allowed to stay up past 10 o'clock. And my kids will reach a certain age, I'll be like, yeah, stay up past 10. Yeah, you could go out on dates and stuff.
Hmm.
Did I change my mind, or did the situation change to a point where I was like, okay, these things are now allowed?
That would
Like, I didn't
be.
change
I,
fundamentally as a parent.
I would
was always
understand
the
what
same.
you were saying though, but you did change as a parent because now the child that you're speaking to is no longer that child. So you do change, right? You change with your child. So if I told my 6-year-old that they can't do something yesterday, and then it's probably going to be the same if it's in the same category, by the way. It's
Well,
probably
let's
going to be the same at the next 6-year-old. And then when they turn 10, yes, I change because they changed. And then I will implement new rules for a 10-year-old that aren't the same rules as a 6-year-old. And that's why a lot of kids get annoyed, because if you have kids at different ages, you'll have the 8-year-old and then the 15-year-old, and they're like, well, 8-year-old's like, why can't I do this shit? And you have to explain, like, well, this person's 15, they have better, or not more, not better, they have more options than you have. And that is me changing, right?
I guess let me improve that analogy in that case. So let's say I am a robot with the exact same programming, and I tell my kid when they're 6 years old, you can't go on dates. And when they turn 16, I'm like, you can go on dates. If I were a robot whose programming stayed the same, I didn't change my mind. I was always planning on having them go out on dates when they were 16. They just changed, their situation changed, but it wasn't me. It wasn't my intents or my desires or my plans that changed it all. Now, if God in the past had ever said, hey, this thing will absolutely never happen, no matter what people do, this is the way it's going to be forever. And then he changed and went back on that, then I would say that God changed. If
Okay.
God
So the curse of
changed,
Ham, do you have like a verse I can look at on when it used to be?
I don't know, it's somewhere in Genesis.
I'm sorry. There's nothing in your book.
Oh no, there's nothing in the
So you
Book of
literally
Mormon
just
or the
took it
Doctrine
out of the Old Testament and got it. Okay. So there's not
Yeah,
like there's not some doctrine inside of what is the Mormon book called?
there's the Book of Mormon. It's the
Just Book of
main
Mormon.
one.
Okay. So there's
Yeah.
no doctrine in the Book of Mormon that says it, or is it just Genesis is in there and that's what you use?
Yeah, there is no doctrine laid out in the Book of Mormon or the Doctrine and Covenants to back up the idea of African Americans not being included in higher ordinances of the gospel.
Well, isn't it just dark skin? Not even just
No, it was African Americans.
Oh, only okay. So isn't
Native
that
Americans and stuff were allowed.
okay? So doesn't that like come on, bro? That was like obviously people speaking for God, right? Like that's people speaking for God. No?
Well, I don't believe so. Maybe I'm wrong.
So it is God saying that African Americans weren't allowed until this certain time and God knew it.
Well,
Does that make sense also? Because it doesn't to me.
it makes okay, you're not a Christian, so this won't work for you. But I would say to a Christian, it makes just as much sense as God saying that you couldn't preach to the Gentiles until a specific point.
I agree, and I
Right,
would I would call that out too. I think the fact that Jesus said he only came for his people is either racist or nationalist, however we want to take it. Like I do agree with that because there is a problem with that, and I think that's a problem you would have to face as a Christian, and which I had to, and there's a problem you have to face as a Mormon. That yes, there's something wrong about that, and that's where I would like to see if you could be honest about that part, and just at least recognize there's something that doesn't quite add up with that.
Yeah,
And
I can
go ahead.
I can pretend to
No pretending. No pretending.
but
No pretending.
I
bro.
don't know the reason. I can come up with some reasons that might exist, but ultimately, like I said before when we talked, I think the evidence for the Latter-day Saint view of God is better than the evidence against it, and therefore the evidence for the prophetic calling of Joseph Smith and the authority in the church.
Is it possible that there are people that let me just pretend with you here? Supernatural is real. Does that necessarily prove that they're speaking to God? Like, could Jesus just have been some super special being that just said they were talking to God? Is that a possibility?
Like some high-tech alien who came down to prank
Sure.
us.
Whatever
Right?
you need to understand what I'm saying is what I'm saying. Because to me, that sounds more reasonable than a God that literally doesn't like. What do you think God's doing right now?
I think he is.
Is God a he, or did you just say he? I know some people just say that. I'm curious if God is literal he though.
Yeah, I think God is a masculine being up in heaven.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever, that's fine. But like, what is God doing right now?
I believe that through Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, he is reaching out to people on this earth to help prepare the earth for the second coming, preach the gospel, and
Cool.
spread.
Why is God waiting?
The way I understand it is God the Father is waiting because he wants as many people on this earth to choose him.
Does God already know who's going to make it?
Yes, but let me ask you this question. Would it be just for God to punish someone for something they never did?
I think that's what already is going on. Because not something that yeah, something I never did, right? I don't know if I'm going to get saved or not, like whatever according to you or Christianity or Islam, whatever, right? I could die and be on one of those teams, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like it doesn't matter if God already knows where I'm going to be at. It's God, right? God could just literally just fast forward my life and I would just be at the end. You know what I mean? I would still have lived it. It could just be a fast forward lived and I'm just at the end. It doesn't make sense to me that God is just sitting there waiting. Does that really make sense to you? Like that God is like the all powerful being is just sitting there waiting.
Oh, no, that makes absolutely no sense to me or other Latter-day Saints. We actually have a different understanding of that.
Okay, so what is he doing right now? Like literally right at this moment while while me and you are talking, what is God doing? Watching?
Well, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there are about 18 to 19,000 missionaries worldwide, and there are 15 apostles who are leading the church, and another 18 million about members, and then another few hundreds of millions of good people all around the earth that I believe that God is leading by his Holy Spirit to do good things, to uplift those who are struggling and suffering, to preach God's word, preach goodness throughout the world, to try to prepare the earth for the second coming of Jesus Christ.
So why are people doing everything? Because that's what I heard. I didn't hear you saying God is doing anything. Like people are doing it.
One difference between Latter-day Saints and other Christians is that we believe that God's purpose has been explicitly set forth in scriptures. What he is doing, why he created everything, is set forth in scriptures. He says, "For behold, this is my work and my glory, to bring to pass the immortality and eternal life of man." Now, if you ask a traditional Christian, why did God create everything? They'd say, oh, God created it to glorify himself. But Latter-day Saints, we believe that God has created all of this to ultimately glorify us, so that we
So
can
then,
learn and grow.
but why isn't it that just, why aren't we there already?
Well, I guess let me ask you this. How do you expect to grow muscles if you never go to the gym?
If I could jump in a time machine and just jump to the afterwards, I would.
But if you skipped all of the pain, all of those growing experiences, you wouldn't become the person that God
Well,
And
remember, a time machine doesn't mean I didn't go through it. Like when, in order for the time machine to work, it means whatever I jumped to, right? It had to have happened. So I'm jumping to the end, and I did all the workouts. I did everything. So when I jump into that body, I will remember and feel exactly, just like right now, man. It feels like I was 10 years younger yesterday. And so it's the same thing, man. I'm just in this body right now. And then now we add God to this. There is literally no reason for us to have to go through all of these years if God already knows the ending, because God is God, all powerful, all whatever. God could just literally put me at the end of my life. I wouldn't know any difference. And it would just be the outcome, right? Like, I don't know if you believe in heaven or whatever the case is. Basically, I treat, that's cool. I talk to everybody this way, where it's just like, it doesn't make sense that we are doing this. If there's a God and God already has an ending and God already knows the ending, there literally is no reason for us to be here. Like, it's already done. Go ahead.
I would agree with you if the point of this life was just to be rewarded with heaven or hell. But I don't think that's what the end goal is. I believe our end goal is growth. We will become something. It's not just the place we'll go. God's not going to give us $1 million heavenly dollars if we're righteous and only 100 heavenly dollars if we're less righteous or something. It's not a reward. It's a journey of becoming. For me personally in my life, I've gone through an experience with an intense heartbreak. And that was before I met my wife, my now wife, and everything. And it was extremely hard for me. But I can confidently say that if I hadn't gone through that, I probably wouldn't have been ready when I met my wife to date her and ultimately marry her. And so through that trial, that very hard time in my life, I see a great blessing that came because I had that experience. And if I'd never had that hard experience, I never would have been ready to meet and marry my wife. And you can say, oh yeah, God can snap his fingers and make us like that. I don't believe that.
Not make us, by the way. Like, it literally still has happened. It's just God, since God is all time, all the time, all everywhere. It's like doesn't make sense that God is waiting and watching. That's all I'm saying. We would still feel like the experience is the same. I just don't understand why we aren't at the end. Like, what are you gonna do when you're 80 years old and nothing has changed? That's an honest question. What would you say then? Like, we're still here on Earth. There's no ending. Like, and now you're about to die. And now your kids are going to be like, oh, it's still coming? The end's still coming? Because that's what's happened for the last 2,000 years, by the way. Is people thought the ending was coming, and then we're here, so they were wrong, and now we're saying the same shit. And if we live that long, or sorry, if the world lasts that long, we don't blow each other up, it's going to be another 1,000 years. And what do you think Mormonism looks like, or Christianity looks like, if we are still here for another 1,000 years?
Well, I mean, you have people like the Jehovah's Witnesses who say Jesus is going to come by this specific date, and then it doesn't happen multiple times. So
what do you say?
Back. I think groups like that will go away.
Yeah, what do you say? What does yours say?
Because the goal of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is to prepare people to live a good, holy life, I don't think it'll ever go away. Even if Jesus Christ doesn't come for another 100,000 years, the lifestyle and the morals taught in the Church of Jesus Christ and the deep teachings that have value, if Christ comes or if he doesn't, will continue to live on forever.
Well, so you say just the way they live is beneficial, whether it's wrong or right?
Whether the theology is wrong or right.
You don't care if your beliefs are true?
Well, I definitely do care. I care a lot.
But you kind of were just saying, like, even if Jesus doesn't come back, it's okay.
Even if it didn't, living in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and living the teachings has made my life better than it would have been otherwise.
Right, but what does it teach you that you could not have learned by just another just good person? Like that doesn't believe what you believe. Does it have something special in there that only you would know if you were a part of this church?
Kind of. But in generally, no, not really.
So that's, I mean, and I'm not shitting on the church. I'm saying I feel like I hear that a lot, but every religion I look at is not saying anything special that you could not get somewhere else. Now, community is a huge part, right? And then I know LDS has a huge community. Church, like Christian churches have huge communities, and that is what causes the benefit to me is that you are able to have big communities. And then everything after that, like you just, if you look at somebody else's family, you're automatically going to do all of the Jesus teachings, all of the Mormon book teachings about being kind and loving and forgiving. You will do that when you see someone else as family. So that's why community is so important. And for the last however many centuries, the people that have had the monopoly on community have been religions. And to me, that's why they feel so special to people, is because community actually is what's special. None of the books are true. It's the fact that community it makes us do great things. Like when we decided we want to go to the damn moon and everybody wanted to do it, we do it. When we decide we want to harm people, we do it because community is so powerful. And that's what's special about Mormons. And that's what's special about Christianity. It has nothing to do with the actual teachings. It has to do with groups. Groups with one goal. Go ahead.
No, I'd say something that wouldn't. I don't think you would accept it with your worldview. Let's see though. So we believe that in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we have the same authority that Christ had in the Bible, the authority he gave to his apostles to work miracles and to bind us to him in unique and special ways, where we make covenants with him. And by covenant, I mean we make a promise to God and he makes a promise back to us. And in that sense, we are binding ourselves to God in a sense. We're getting closer to him, and I've met people who have talked about their lives before and after making those covenants, and they've been good people, Christians their whole lives. Like one person I talked to, she said that before she got baptized in the church, she felt the Spirit of God, like it was like she felt like the Spirit gave her yes, no answers, but never anything detailed. But after she joined the church and made those covenants, she felt like God was talking to her in a unique and more personal, intimate way.
Did you show her what to do? Is this one of your disciples or what?
No, she was just a friend I knew from school, and she just got baptized into the church after moving to Utah.
So what would be your process? I'm all about trying stuff, right? What would be your process for me that I would see God? That's what I want to see. And truthfully, this is not even being a joke. I want what it would take for me to see God for real. What would that entail? I'm going to allow you to share that with me, and then I'm gonna try these things, and I'm going to be honest with you after it's done.
Okay.
What do you got?
Let me open the Book of Mormon for you.
All right, go ahead.
So
You get my note. You get my notepad.
At the end of the Book of Mormon, there's a verse. When I was a missionary for the church, biking around, inviting people to come to church and accept Jesus and stuff, I'd read this verse all the time.
All right, now
It
remember,
says-
I'm asking for things that I can do. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It says, like, referencing the Book of Mormon, and when you should receive these things, I would exhort you that you would ask God, the eternal Father, in the name of Christ, if these things are not true. And if you shall ask with a sincere heart and with real intent, having faith in Christ, he will manifest the truth of unto you by the power of the Holy Ghost.
All right. Ask God in the name of Christ with honesty. I feel like that's good.
Yes.
All right. Next.
Well, that's it. That's how you'll get a spiritual
That's
witness.
it.
Perform with God's word.
Wait.
Yeah,
That's it. That's all you got for me?
Crack open the Book of Mormon, give it a read, think about it, ponder about it, pray to God. And this part that means real intent, that means, let's say hypothetically, you read in the Book of Mormon, you read a few chapters.
I'm trying to give you a chance here, bro. You're saying that's it.
Yeah, let me give you the hypothetical story of what's going to happen.
All right, go ahead.
If you read in the Book of Mormon,
All right.
and you really think about the message that it's saying, and you start to apply it in your life, you see that it's good, and you say a prayer. And you say a prayer to God and ask him in the name of Jesus Christ, God, is this book your word? And you feel his spirit testify to you that it's true, would you be baptized into the church?
All right, see, now we're adding more. All right, that's what I'm asking. All right, yeah, say a prayer. You said the one thing. This is like 4 things.
I'm just saying this hypothetical situation. If this situation happened and you felt God's spirit telling you that it was true, would you get baptized into the church?
Does God really talk to me or what?
In the Bible, in Galatians chapter 5, I believe, it says the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, long-suffering, brotherly kindness, and a couple other things. The way I felt it in the past is, well, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but...
Because it sucks for you or for me, because I'm a really nice guy. So a lot of the feelings that you say, I already have.
I'll just say this.
Okay, go ahead.
You'll know it's God when you feel it.
I'll know it's God. All right, man. I'm telling you, Christian would tell me the same thing. And I probably used to tell people the same thing.
Let's say you feel it and you know that it's God's spirit telling you that that book is from him.
Yeah.
Would you hunt down the missionaries in your neighborhood and ask them to baptize you?
Bro, if like God really spoke to me, that'd be it. What do you mean? I would do anything.
You'd be baptized?
I would do anything. I just said anything.
There you go.
If God really spoke to me, I would do anything. That's I don't know. So
if you actually mean that.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
If you actually mean that, then I believe that will happen. If you read the Book of Mormon and say that prayer, I could, you know what? If you message me your info, I could literally get you missionaries to deliver a Book of Mormon to your doorstep if you wanted. You could read it.
I mean, I can get the Book of Mormon without all that, you know. Unless you're saying that somehow the Book of Mormon I get is different than yours.
No, it'll be the same. I could send you an online copy too.
All right, I'm just saying. Like I said, I'm down with doing anything. Just like I would ask if you came up here and told me that ghosts were real, and then you gave me some method to make ghosts appear, I would try that too. Now, here's the thing. I could talk to a Christian. I could talk to a Muslim. Actually, Christians usually don't go this route. I think this may be a more Mormon thing and a more Muslim thing.
If Christians backed it up, then they'd all be joining our church. They have to get around it.
I love this back and forth with you and the Christians, by the way. All right, but
Christians are cool. I love y'all in the chat. All of you.
But it's
believing Christians.
What if someone else were to tell me this same thing and it happened? Now, what would you say? Like, say, like I'm speaking to someone that's preaching Islam to me, and I do it and I feel it, and then yours I don't feel it. Now what?
If God is telling you to join Islam, you do it.
Wait, you really believe that?
Well, yeah, one thing unique about Latter-day Saints, we believe God works through lots of different people. If for some reason God doesn't want you to make covenants with him yet, he wants you to
Yeah,
go
you
through
said yet. Yeah,
first.
you said yet. Why would God have me join a fake religion and then bring me back to the real one? That's kind of messed up, bro.
I don't know. I don't think God would punish you for doing it if he's the one who inspired you to do it.
But that's kind of messed up. It's like it's a game.
Well, let's say hypothetically, let's say this is the story that happens. You join Islam, you get a community of Islamic friends, and then you feel like the Book of Mormon is true, and then all of them end up joining the church.
I knew you were gonna say something like that.
I don't know. God works in mysterious ways.
Hey, when did you get saved? Is that what it's called for you?
Oh, that's a complicated question. Technically, I was saved when Jesus was resurrected, but technically, I will be saved when he comes back again. But I will say that my testimony of Christ came when I was about 14 years old. I think that's when I said my prayer. I was asking God if he was really there. I was committed. It honestly took me a while to get to this point, but I felt God, and I know it was God, and I can't deny it.
All right, I will never deny somebody's experience. But you already answered this maybe. So you're saying when a Christian has that same experience and a Muslim has, that is also God?
If they're really doing it to true principles, then yes. Like, I don't believe that God will ever tell someone, yes, go kill that young innocent child.
I mean, that's in the Bible, man.
It's in the Old Testament, which has been edited by tons of people. The Jewish nation was in apostasy by the time Jesus came, and they were using the Old Testament, writing all over it.
Okay, but if that's where you get your base from, how do you have a whole new religion off of that, though? Like, that's literally the beginning of yours, too, right?
Well, I mean, I will say that we've only been around for 200 years, and we already have 18 million members, which is faster than Christianity grew in the first century.
I don't know if it's fast as Islam, though. Is it? Islam was pretty crazy.
Of Islam, but yeah, Islam's been growing fast too. But I will say that the church, like our church, the Church of Jesus Christ, is one of the fastest growing Christians.
I know it is one of the fastest. Yeah, I know. I've heard that. All right. All right, I'm gonna look into this. I don't agree with you. You're super honest. So I enjoyed talking to you just because of that. I'll say that you've been answering my questions, and I will never condemn somebody for that one. And I'm more likely to try what someone's saying. Like this is just a side bit here, just to show like that's how I work. Like I had a friend that was a vegan, and he was so honest about it, man. I literally made my family be a vegan for a whole year just because this person was like, bro, just try it. It's good for you, man. Well, not my whole family. Sorry. Me and my wife did it. I didn't want to do it to my kids. So let me be fair.
You don't want CPS to get involved.
Yeah. So I didn't do it like my kids. They had a choice. It's like, hey, you either eat what the wife cooks or not. So, but like we did it for a whole year. So, like I said, I appreciate the honesty. Now my next question.
2 weeks, and I was just too hungry.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We did it for a year, and it was tough. You got to do it right. You got to eat vitamins. You got to do everything.
Yeah.
So the next question for you, though, is could you be wrong?
Now, wrong about my interpretation and wrong about all the facts and historic details I'm telling you. Absolutely. Wrong about my personal experience? No.
Yeah, I
Is that
agree with
any
that.
reason for you to join the church, though? No, that's a subjective detail.
No,
It's my experience.
that's fine. I don't like when people experience something. I've dealt with people that have like
Yeah,
actual like bipolar, schizophrenia type stuff. You literally have an experience, and you can't. Nobody can tell you otherwise. So
yeah. I won't say that's wrong, but I also won't say that you have to believe because of it.
yeah, I got you. I just want to say like I get it. If you had an experience, literally no one can tell you anything opposite. It just is what it is. So I respect experiences. It just is what it is. I just always question. It's just like God, man, and I say that for real. Like God, man, you seem limited. Right? If I'm speaking to God, it's just like you seem really limited, and I don't know why. And that's probably I don't know. That's all I gotta say on that. I guess it
You want
seems
me to use
that
that as a segue into some of my other points I was going to talk about?
yeah. I'll let you've answered my question, so I'm gonna allow you to go ahead. Go ahead.
Cool. So some of my points. First one, philosophically and logically, I believe that the Latter-day Saint view of God is better than the traditional Trinitarian view, the Judaistic view, and the Islamic view, all other views of God. And that's primarily for one main reason, is that it answers the problem of evil sufficiently, I believe. And you know what the problem of evil is, right?
Unnecessary suffering.
Yeah, basically, why is there suffering? Or
Yeah.
if God is all powerful, if he's all good, and evil exists, how does that happen?
Correct. Yep.
And Christians say, oh, it's because of agency. But then Alex O'Connor has his thing that he brings up. He's like, oh, what about a deer in a forest where a volcano explodes? That deer is innocent, it's living its good life, but then it gets tortured to death by burning lava and stuff. Same thing with kids. Kids have horrible things happen to them just because of nature, which is not at all due to human wickedness.
Nature, no, it's not. Yep.
And so our answer to that, well, let me ask you, do you think it would be just for God to create a little baby, send the baby to Earth without the baby's consent at all, and have the baby die in a volcanic eruption or something, and then send the baby to hell because it never accepted him? Do you think that's just or fair at all?
I don't think it's just that God sent me here without asking. So no, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know what you say about that one though. Go ahead.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
yeah, I would agree. Let me ask you another question.
Okay.
Let's say God created you, he created your spirit, and then he asked you, hey, there's this planet. I want to send you down. You'll be able to learn a lot. You might have a good life, but you're going to go through lots of trials. You might even reject me. And he lists some things that you might go through. He says you'll deal with this stuff. And then he gives you the chance to choose to come down. If he sent you down because you chose to, would that be an answer to that problem? Like, let's say that baby said, yes, I still want to go down. And then he sent the baby.
If God gave me a choice that said, hey, there's this video game you're about to go play, and I chose to play, that's what it sounds like to me, by the way. Then because I'm assuming I'm this eternal spirit, by the way.
To go play this video game.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
you feel the game is going to be real.
Yeah, there's this game you're gonna go play. I would say that is more fair, for sure. If I chose to be here, for sure, it's all game at that point. Yes.
In Latter-day Saint theology, that's exactly what happened. God didn't just create us out of nothing and send us here out of the blue. We are all, in Latter-day Saint theology, eternally existent. Like, we've all existed forever.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a claim now, right? So how would I know?
This isn't the proof. This is the logical claim. I am right now trying to show how, logically speaking, the Latter-day Saint conception of God is the most moral conception of God.
But not true.
This is evidence, not proof.
All right, go ahead. Next. I agree. This. Go ahead.
Okay. Additionally, I mentioned this briefly before, but the purpose of this life, I believe, is for us to learn and grow. And that's why we deal with challenges and stuff. It's not because God wants to, as some Calvinists who I've talked to would say, he wants to send us to hell to glorify his name. He wants us to learn and grow for ourselves. Do you believe that's a better interpretation of God than just God wants to send people to hell to glorify himself?
The problem I have with that is it seems like God has a goal no matter what we're saying. So it's not like God is going to allow me just to become whatever I want to become, which means why are we doing all of this if you already have what you want me to become?
Okay.
Like my kids, right? Like I don't have a very set thing I want them to become. I want them to become whatever they want to become. And I will try to guide them as much as I can off of what they want to become.
Let me bring up a third point of Latter-day Saint theology. Let me ask you a question first. If you had a choice to snap your fingers and let your kids avoid all the painful stuff, but suddenly appear at the end as if they had experienced it all, with all the growth that they would have had otherwise, would you do that?
If I snap my fingers. Do they avoid pain?
They avoid all pain.
Oh, well, yes.
So why don't you do it?
I can't. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Why don't you just do it right now?
What do you mean? If I could make my kids avoid all pain, 100% I would.
Okay, snap your fingers, do it right now.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, bro. I can't.
We don't believe that God can either.
Why not? It's all powerful God.
In the Latter-day Saint view, God abides by eternal laws.
I think did we speak about this? Because then there was somebody else that spoke about this.
I don't think
he was no, it wasn't you. It was another Latter-day Saint. And I was like, well, then that means reality is actually more powerful than God is. That's actually the video I just released today. And that was my comment. So we're saying there's something that's more powerful than God.
Well, I like to explain it this way. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 because God said so. It just is. It's just a fact. It doesn't mean math is all powerful. Like math can't do anything to save you. It's just a fact.
But math would be the foundation in that category, right?
Fact.
Like math would be the foundation of everything in that in that sentence. Like math is the foundation.
Yeah, and it's just true. Nothing makes it true. It just is, right? There's nothing that God can do to make the numerical equation 2 + 2 = 4 not be true.
Well, I mean,
that's just inherent.
To be fair, it's just a made up thing.
Yes, but
I get your point, but I get your point. Dude, it's just like but I'm talking about actual reality that God seems to be bound by.
God is bound by eternal laws. Yes, and he is all powerful.
So did God create them or no?
No, they just are. They exist.
That's interesting.
I always think it's funny when Christians talk to atheists, like they'd go to you and they'd be like, oh, you don't really have any basis for morality. It's all just subjective to you. Like, has a Christian ever told you that?
Yeah, of course.
Now, I would go to a traditional Christian and say, oh, you believe that morality is subjective. They'll be like, oh, no, morality is based in God. And I'll say, well, if God chooses to do something that's bad right now, is that bad or is that good? They'll be like, oh, if God does it, it's good. They have subjective morality too. They just put it one step further and
But wait, what do you not believe that they believe? I feel like you just believe extra, right? You still believe a lot of what they believe, right?
We believe that God does what he does because it's good. We don't believe that something is good because God does it.
So, man, you like some of these Christians though, because I can't bring up Old Testament to you. You deny the whole Old Testament, man.
In my personal experience, I think lots of that was edited, but the principles I think do still last.
So the principle of women as property?
No.
Okay, so that's something that doesn't last then.
Either that or it's just a misinterpretation.
So do you see how you always have an out, and that's where I have a problem?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just got you. As long as you know where I'm coming from, it's just like, man. Every time there's something bad, there seems to be a door with a key.
But let me just ask you, if there was a God who is capable of ending all the evil in the world and still accomplishing his purposes, but he chose not to, wouldn't that be an evil God?
Yeah.
As opposed to a God who can't change the things in the world and still fulfill his purposes. If he doesn't change it, he's not changing it because he's bad or because he doesn't care. He's changing it because he can't accomplish his higher purposes.
We're missing a little bit here though, because and I get we're kind of assuming things, right? It's also the fact of, that's why I asked you, we could just be wrong. There could be whatever God you are thinking of could be the most reasonable God, but does that make it the actual God, or does that prove that God actually exists?
So that was just my first point. That's just proving that, logically speaking, he is the most philosophically sound and beneficial view of a God. And let me ask you, do you think that the view of God I've presented to you is more logical, more moral than other views of God that you've heard?
Let me give you an honest answer here. Let me go through this. I think it's you. I don't think it's God. I think it is somebody that is maybe more reasonable, not afraid to admit certain things, which now turns into, since you're representing God, I am like, oh, the God you sound like, the God you say you believe in. I think I'm just talking to you. Let me say it that way. You're telling me it's God. I'm just talking to you. And you sound more reasonable.
More reasonable. My view.
Does your view of God match the reality that I see a little bit better? A little bit. It's not by a lot. It's not by a lot, bro. I just want to be real with you. It's not by a lot. It's not by a lot. It's not a lot. It's just like, oh, I see reality. Horrible shit happens. That means if there is a God, God can't do something about it, or doesn't. Whatever. You just gave me a reason for why God can't a little bit. Do I agree with your actual reasons? I'm not going to say that because I feel like they're just another form of excuse. I'm going to be honest with you as possible because I want you to keep being honest with me. So it's just like, I hear you, but it sounds like if I'm speaking to a Christian, they are going to have similar excuses. It's just going to be different from whoever I'm speaking to, right? I'm literally talking to you. I don't think I'm talking to God. So if you're a good speaker and if you can think logically, you're going to make any God sound better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just going to say my last point in this logical defense of God.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's short.
Okay.
We Latter-day Saints believe that God didn't create everything out of nothing. It's one thing that lots of Christian churches say. They say, hey, God created everything that exists out of absolutely nothing. And some people are like, yeah, why the heck does that matter? That means that all the evil in the world ultimately exists because of God.
I think it has to be. Wait, what? It has to.
Not if we existed eternally. Because God didn't create us in the most fundamental way.
Okay.
He didn't create the world out of nothing. He organized us from existing matter in a Latter-day Saint view. And so all the evil in the world doesn't have to come from God. It came from this pre-existing matter that God organized us from.
Okay, keep going. I'm listening.
I'm just saying that's, I think, the most.
But okay, Here's a
definition of
question.
why we're logically better.
Oh wait, you already answered that. So you believe like souls, like we have souls, and
Yeah.
then you believe that we actually I one day whatever day, it's not even day, I spoke to God and said I want to come here. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Now here's going to be the hard part for you, and just be honest. Can you prove that is true? And
No.
I mean, it's probably easy answer. Cool. No. All right. Awesome. All right. So why do you believe that?
I believe in the Latter-day Saint conception of God because, because of the experience I told you about earlier.
Okay, so
if I were to
it's
think about
almost always all the
logically, experiences and the logic of it, and also
Do you think
historically
do you think somebody could state like a logical premise and it still be wrong?
yeah, if there are any logical fallacies in what they say, like
Well, no,
Christian,
you don't think you can logically do a premise and it's still like it doesn't really mean anything? No?
oh yeah, definitely, it
Okay.
can not
Okay.
have real world implications, but if it's logically sound, then it is a good logical argument.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just making sure like somebody can just say some shit and it makes sense, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay. All right, keep going.
So in addition to the logical arguments from God, there are historical arguments, and this one's a lot shorter, just because it's something I haven't dived deeply into, but I have a lot of surface level understanding, and I don't know if you've dived deeply into it either. I'll suggest a podcast though. It's called The Ancient Tradition, and it's basically this lady. She's not a member of our church, at least I don't think so. I know that she's a Christian, but she basically studies all of these ancient civilizations and all the oldest religions in the world, all the traditional religions of all these different ethnicities. And she talks about common threads that are found in all of these ancient traditions. And she says her theory is that all of these religions probably draw, like at the deepest point, they have one point where they all descended from one common religion. And that's what she calls the ancient tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes over like stuff in India, China, Native Americans, Jews, Christians, all these different ancient forms of these religions, and draws these parallels. And they strikingly resemble Latter-day Saint theology in ways that no other Christian denomination does. Specifically regarding the nature and view of God and the origin of our universe.
All right, what does this mean?
It indicates that historically speaking, the teachings taught in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are unique in the Christian world in that they have ancient origins. It didn't start in 2000, or it didn't start 2,000 years ago. It didn't start 200 years ago. It has its roots in religions that are thousands of years old. And so, based on the presupposition that there was one true religion ultimately that God revealed to the first people on earth, if there is a true religion, our church aligns with that religion strikingly well.
I like the word if.
Yes, that is a big if.
It is a big if, right? Because to me, this is one of the most important things that could ever be, or the most important. Not even. Yeah, it is the most important thing. If there's a God or not. So now that makes me wonder, why would God leave any chance of people not finding it? If this is the most important thing there is.
Real quick, let me say one thing before I answer.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Joseph Smith founded our specific religious organization in 1830, and he didn't have access to all of these ancient records. Half of what this lady talks about weren't even discovered at the time Joseph established the church.
What's the lady's name? Sorry.
Joseph Smith.
No, the lady.
Oh, what's her name? It's The Ancient Tradition by Jack Logan, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her name, Jack Logan.
Thank you. Keep going.
And if Joseph Smith was able to organize this theology that lines up with all of these the most ancient religions on earth in ways that he couldn't have read a book to figure it out, he just did it from, I don't know, just lucky guessing, I guess. But it's a lot of lucky guessing for all of these things that contradict traditional Christian doctrine to line up with the most ancient religions on earth.
Okay.
And the sheer number of coincidences you would have to accept based on that may lead me to believe that it was truly inspired of God.
Well, again, though, excuse me, I asked this, is it possible I'm joking, not joking, by the way. What if people just have powers, bro, and there is no God?
That is an alternate explanation, yeah.
And it's just as silly, though. That's why I'm bringing it up. Like, I have zero proof of that. And you're saying, you would never take it in the same weight, right? That's why I'm bringing it up. So it's just like, if you grew up in this place that told you there were superheroes and everybody has superpowers, I feel like you would have the same experience. Like, it would just be tied to that. So now my question to you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, did you grow up around this faith?
Yes, I did.
So you see my point now, right?
Yeah, it was my grandparents, I believe, who joined the church.
Right.
Not my parents.
So you see my reasoning behind, like, I can imagine a world where we grew up and Harry Potter. And the Harry Potter story is not technically real, but you know what I mean? Like the story behind it is real. There's really magic going on. There's really demons going on. Voldemort was really a figure. And and if we grew up in that and you had an experience, you automatically would tie it to what you were brought up in. So do you think you would be Muslim if you grew up in those areas?
I would at least start out Muslim. Yes, probably.
All right, we got a super chat here. See no God, hear no God, smell no God, taste no God, touch no God, convince no God. Plus, why would one want to bow down, serve, worship someone else, and have no say in the rules? What do you think about that one? That's an interesting one.
Based on the Latter-day Saint understanding of God, before this life, we all did agree to the rules. So.
Oh yeah, you did answer that.
Sorry about that.
That's fair.
You don't have to accept it, but based on our theology, we do have an answer for that.
Now, is having an answer always lead to like a truth? Because I'm a pretty smart guy and I can come up with some answers for some bullshit.
The sheer number of answers that Joseph Smith came up with is impressive, but that's not the reason that I believe. It's significant evidence that backs up my belief, but it's not the foundational reason. The foundational reason is my personal experiences, and I can share.
Do you want to share your experience? It's okay if not. That's all good.
No, yeah, I shared it briefly before. I've had more experiences than that, all pretty similar. But
well, I mean, I heard the experience about you and your wife and you becoming a better person at the correct time. Have you ever seen God?
I haven't seen him. I had a dream about him when I was like 7 or something. My mom said I came out of my room crying and I just drew a picture of Jesus. Just cool, but
interesting.
I don't know if that just make me happy or.
Hey, this is a key. Was your Jesus white, bro?
He was white, yes. But I'm Mexican.
But no, it doesn't matter what you are, because what I was talking about the last stream, where it was just like every time I even somewhat think of God, it's because I was indoctrinated. It's a white person, like this white person, like, and it's because an indoctrination, man. So it's like that should be a hint to you that it is like we are such social creatures that it is so easy to pass on these things. And that's why smart people do it. They give you pictures, they give you symbols, they give you all of these things because human nature is to attach to patterns. So when I give you a symbol and I give you a pattern, you will pass it on, right? So
Yeah.
everybody on freaking earth knows that Jesus wasn't some white person. Yet, if you ask any American, I guarantee you, when they think of Jesus, it's white. And when they think of God, it's white. Right?
I do think he had some dark brown hair at least.
I mean, it doesn't even matter, right? The fact of the matter is, like, you think of Jesus white, you think of God as white. Here at least. So it's just like that should be a hint, man, that we make up some shit that just is attached to our souls. I don't believe in soul, but like it's attached to us, man. So that's just my warning for you, man. You might possibly have something that is attached to you that was made up. And you already said it's possible you're wrong, so like I'm cool with that. But that is something to really think about, that you didn't really have a choice in what you believe. You were brought up in a family and in a community that already forced the beliefs onto you, and you're more likely to believe those beliefs. It's just how it works. So to me, that is more proof that God does not exist in the same way that you're saying. Like, your God is very specific, right? You agree with that, right? Like, your God is super specific, which makes it even less plausible, because what is the odds that you got it right?
I'd say it's higher than most.
Of course you do, though, because you grew up in it. Like I said, if I'm speaking to a Muslim, they're going to tell me the same thing.
You did say my view of God is more reasonable, and so you'd agree that it's more likely my view of God.
So to be fair, I say reasonable compared to other ones. I think God could just be evil, literally.
He could. In which
Like,
case,
I think we all could be. If there's a God, it's more likely. Like, if you want to ask me the most likely thing, when I say reality, there's a deist God that just made everything and just fucked off. And it's like a child, right? It just creates shit and it doesn't care. Like, it can't care, by the way. So it's not even in a way of good or evil. It's like it can't care. Like, it doesn't understand what it would be like to be alive. Like, it's just eternal. So it just creates shit. Like, that is more likely to me. I don't really believe in that, by the way. But if I had to come up with what I thought God would be, it would be that. Like, there is something that, you're right, it creates fucking everything, and it's just creating shit all the time, but it creates it and walks away. Creates it, walks away. Creates it, walks away. It'd be like the same thing as a fucking ant farm. Like, you don't really give a shit about the ants.
Do you think that, let's assume that the Bible is God's word. Based on that assumption, do you think that God was actively speaking with the prophets and stuff in the Bible? Or do you think he was lying back and doing nothing?
Hold on. Can women be head of household? No, God is wrong. Can women be head of household? What do you think?
Me? I don't know.
I mean, according to what you say, can they be the head of household?
Maybe. If the
Why isn't it just a yes?
Well, yeah, women could be a head of a household, yeah.
I mean, wait, you don't agree with it or not, do you? I'm confused.
No, sorry, I was overthinking it. Yes, women could be a head of a household.
Okay. All right. That's just was a super chat. I just wanted to ask you. All right. So, what were you saying?
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I believe that God was actively trying to intervene in history in the Bible, because he was frequently talking with prophets and stuff and preaching to people, inviting people to come to him. And I believe that he's actively doing that today. Like, I don't believe that he.
Why doesn't God just show up like a pillar of fire?
Well,
that was
he doesn't do that because for us to really learn and grow, like I said, because God is bound by eternal law, he can't just make us learn and grow. He can't make us like suddenly snap his fingers and make us perfect people. We need
Yep.
to become perfect people. So for us to learn
By
and
what
grow,
you
we need
said,
to
I
go
get it.
through these
Okay.
challenges, just like a tree needs wind to grow strong roots. You need to work out to grow strong muscles. Gold needs to be burned over and over before it can become purified and stuff.
And
Like
that's because you think God's limited, right?
I believe that God follows laws. So yeah, he acts within the bounds of the laws, and he has
Hold on,
agency.
hold on, hold on. Let's say
He could.
God is limited, man. We're gonna be honest here. Say limited.
Okay, God is limited to act within law.
You don't have to say all that extra shit, man.
I
God,
do because I don't want anyone to clip me. I don't want some Christian to clip me and
God,
say Mormons do God is limited.
no, we're honest here, bro. And if we're gonna continue to have this conversation, we got to be honest. I don't care what Christians say. I don't care what Muslims say. Because to me, it doesn't matter what the fuck anybody's opinion is. It's all about the truth, man. So if you are offended by anybody else's clipping or truth, it's just like it's even more proof to me
Okay.
that all of this is bullcrap.
Okay, I'll say it. God is bound by laws. He is limited to act
All
within
right,
them. He's
cool. Thank
limited
you.
in that sense.
All right, cool. All right, limited. All right. And I'm only saying that because if I'm going to continue with it, I got to know exactly what you mean, not sugarcoating it at all.
Good
So,
point.
limited would make sense to me because I agree that if a God exists, it has to be limited. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the way the world is right now. Let's see. I can't prove that. You already admitted you can't prove that, which I'm cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And I guess to your point, I think that God is definitely physically capable of appearing and making everyone believe just by showing up to us. But I don't think that would accomplish his purposes because he wants us to learn and grow. He could do that if he wanted to cut our development short.
So why did Jesus show up?
Because there is an eternal law of justice, and under that eternal law of justice, we need to, I guess, be perfect, I guess you could say. There was a debt that needed to be paid, I guess you could say. Like, if I owe you $1 million, I can't come up with $1 million. And so Jesus Christ stepped in, he paid the $1 million, and after he paid the $1 million, he then turns around to us and says, okay, now just mow my lawn every weekend for a year or something. Are we paying back the $1 million? No, we're not paying back the price of justice that he paid, but we're no longer subject to that law of justice because he paid the debt. I guess you could say. That's a very loose example. I don't know.
That just made me think of another question though, because you said we chose to be here, so why is there a debt to pay?
Because we knew that we would mess up because we aren't perfect. We aren't as powerful or as wise as God is or as Christ was. And we knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we accepted this plan knowing that Jesus Christ would come to pay that price for us.
Why would we this is just a question on your theology. Why would we accept to come here?
Not everyone did. In our theology, we believe that only a certain group of God's children chose to come down. And everyone that is here is part of that group. Everyone who's here chose to come down, and others chose not to.
So do you believe in Adam and Eve or no?
Yeah.
So they chose to be here too as a group?
Yes.
Both of them together? Or was it like, this is the whole story of Adam, Rib, and I mean, there's two different versions. Eve is created twice, I think. Or Adam had a previous wife, I guess. With his Lilith, I guess. I don't know. Do you believe in that?
I've heard that before.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Just taking out all the True Blood shit. I watched True Blood before. I don't know if you ever seen True Blood.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. What do you think the Adam and Eve story was?
Honestly, some people in our church say that it was an allegory. Some people say it's true. I have no issue with it being true. It's just the first two people that God sent down to earth They had a choice to either live the rest of their lives in a paradise garden or to partake of the fruit, become mortal, suffer death and separation from God for a time.
Do you think that's
In
fair
order
that
to
God
allow
had
us-
that God had a I consider it a weapon, by the way, that God had a weapon in the garden that he didn't want his kids to touch?
Well, I mean, he gave them the choice.
Right, but if I gave because I imagine, like, if I'm going by the Bible, Adam and Eve were very new. If my child was new and I just laid a gun in the crib and the baby just happened to mess with it, say I told the baby don't touch it, does the baby really understand what the fuck I'm saying? No, right?
Now, if you listen to what other Christians say about Adam and Eve, it makes sense why you think that analogy works. But Latter-day Saints, we don't believe that eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge and good and evil was the equivalent of shooting yourself with a gun. We believe that choice that they made in the garden was an essential step for God's plan to move forward. We believe that they had to do it in order to have kids, in order for all of us to come here and for everything to happen.
So God planned it.
And Adam and Eve accepted that. They could have chosen to not do it. They could have chosen to live their entire lives in paradise. They chose to sacrifice that. They chose.
I've heard this story before.
leave the
Hold
presence of
on.
God.
I've heard this. So they did it on purpose. Like, do you believe Judas was a hero or no?
No.
Why not? Somebody had to betray Jesus. That's a hero.
Okay. So why did Judas do that?
Because he had to. Somebody had to do it.
No, he did it because he wanted money.
No, come on. You really believe that was it?
Yes, I do.
Because I think, like, if we're really going to go deep into it, I think what really, like, let's say this story is true. It doesn't make Jesus God, but Judas was upset because he thought Jesus was going to conquer and overthrow Rome, right? That would be more likely of the story. So now Judas is pissed because he's done sacrificed his whole life to this man that he thought was going to overthrow Rome, and then this man is like, "Hey, I'm going to go die tomorrow." So Judas is just pissed. So I don't even know if it was about money. It was about, what the fuck, bro? You literally just made me give up my whole life, and you're supposed to be the Messiah that everybody's talked about. I think if I'm going to be real about the story, if I was to write a movie, that would be the story. Literally, Judas is just pissed off. Not about money. It's just like, bro, you told me to give up my whole family and everything, and now you're telling me you're supposed to go die. That's not what the prophecy said, which is true.
No,
because
you're right. I bet he did do it with some malice in his heart. I don't think it was purely for money. If it was purely for money, he probably would have just stolen the money from the disciples and left somewhere.
Right. So now that's for your story. Now, if that's for the rebuttal to what you said. Now, if it's just a story of, hey, this was supposed to happen, then now it's Judas is actually a hero. I did a video on this a long time ago. People hated that shit. Where I was just like, wait, what if Judas is the most important person there is? Because someone had to suck it up. Like, well, hold on. Because I'm tying this to your Adam and Eve story. Because they chose to sacrifice themselves for all of humanity. Judas would have done the same thing. Judas sacrificed himself because Jesus had to be betrayed by somebody, because Jesus couldn't just go commit suicide, even though I feel like Jesus did commit suicide. That's a whole different subject, and we can get on that one if you want. But that would be more likely than the other story. Go ahead.
I guess I would just say that doesn't seem to be Judas's intent. Like, let's say that there was a guy in New York or something, and he got a school bus full of kids, and he went through the entire bus. He started beating up all the kids, and then he drove the bus into the river and jumped out the last minute and recorded them all dying and posted it on the internet.
It's graphic,
and
bro.
Then it turned out that one of the kids on that bus had some tumor during their biopsy or whatever, the They're trying to, I don't know, what do they call it after they die? They do the surgery or whatever.
Autopsy.
Autopsy. And they find some tumor, and it turns out that tumor has the cure for cancer. Would that man be celebrated as a hero, or would he be thrown in jail as a monster?
Monster, for sure.
Because his intent and his actions, the things that he did and the reasons he did them, were evil. And so that's what I think that Jesus was doing. He wasn't trying to say, hey, Jesus, you have to die. Let me be the one to sacrifice you.
Have you heard the Gospel of Judas?
I have heard the Gospel of Judas.
What do you think about that?
Heard all the other Gospels. I haven't read it, so
here's my thing about all the other Gospels. It's just like all of these things were written around the same time. How the hell do we pick and choose what we want? Because they were all written way too late, by the way. I think it's bullshit because I always bring this up. Like my mother dying was one of the most significant events in my life because she died very young and I was young. I could not tell you the exact words of my mother's last words to me at all. And this was only like 18 years ago. So to believe that people 40 years after Jesus died can recite exactly what Jesus said is ridiculous.
That's another reason why Latter-day Saints don't say that the Bible is infallible. We do believe, though, that it is pretty reliable.
I don't even think that's pretty reliable anymore, though.
I'm sure the stuff with Judas is big enough stuff that you'd remember it.
But I just told you, man, the most important event in my life, like literally up to this point, like probably the most important life-changing event in my life. I could not tell you what's one of the most important, if not honestly, like one of the most important people to me. I don't remember what they said.
Even if they don't remember specifically what Judas said, they could still remember his general actions and stuff.
Yeah, but they don't know. They don't know Judas's heart, though.
But let's say you are Judas, and the story in the Bible is that he went back to the high priests. He threw back their silver and said, "Take the money back."
Wait, who even told that story, bro?
That's somewhere in the Bible, I believe.
No. I know, but who was watching Judas to do that, and then wrote down the story?
I don't know. Maybe one of the Pharisees or someone.
Do you see how we have to start making up shit?
I'm just saying it how it says it in the Bible. I
know. Like the Bible says it, but then now we have to add in the extra to make it make sense. I just want you to be with me on that.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, and it's almost like there's some scenes, right? Like who wrote the story of Jesus' temptation?
I believe that Jesus told it to one of the disciples, and we just don't know about it. But
why wouldn't we hear it?
Sidetracked. I
don't know. This isn't sidetracked, bro. This is serious shit. This is serious.
Okay, we'll go with it.
Because all of this is important just to show that anything that you may hear from the ancient past, you have to take with a grain of salt. Like, there is no way for us to know what these ancient people said is true or not. And I would say that for all ancient writings.
Yeah,
we're literally figuring out right now that it's not a new, but damn, what is his name? One of the ancient writers. Is it an A starts? God dang it. There's a figure in ancient times that supposedly wrote a bunch of shit that we are now finding out might not have even. Say it again?
Is it Enoch or?
No, it would have been during Roman times.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't heard about that. But yes, that's why, like I said before, we don't believe the Bible is an infallible book, but we do believe it's reliable.
It might be Socrates or somebody tied to Socrates.
You know what? I think that does ring a bell. I think it might have been Socrates.
Right. And there's a lot of writings from Socrates, if this is the person we're talking about, like like that were from somebody else that we know was real for sure. And I don't remember who it was. And what is now being found out is that maybe that person is what wrote Socrates' shit. And I'm saying Socrates because I think that I'll find out who it is like really quick right now. But anyways, my whole point when it comes to ancient stuff, we just have to be Indiana Jones, haha, hilarious. We just have to be very skeptical because people were just making up stories because that's what was going on in that time. Aristotle, that's it. Yes, Aristotle.
Okay, Aristotle.
Yes. All right, I think that's it. Let me look it up, make sure. I think that's it.
I think
These
he was
are
a student of Socrates.
yes. Hold on. This is all tying up now. Anyways, keep going. I'll let you talk while I'm looking.
But no, yeah, I don't think the Bible is infallible. I don't think it's free of any errors or biases. But I do tend to believe the Bible because of the additional witnesses outside of the Bible, specifically with Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon and stuff. Like that's
But
a second witness completely separate from the Bible that I think provides a lot of additional evidence and reasons to believe in the biblical text.
okay. All right, man.
I can move on to my last point now.
Yep, I'll let you. You're been fair, so I'm gonna let you talk. So go ahead.
Yeah, just the last three little things I wanted to mention were three specific miracles that have happened in the church that I think provide evidence, not proof, but evidence for the authenticity of Joseph Smith's prophetic calling and the Church of Jesus Christ being God's church as a whole. The first one happened, I believe, during the Korean War, and it's called the Miracle of Gapeyong or something like that. And it's where 240 Utah National Guard soldiers who were members of the church got into a firefight in a canyon with 4,000 Chinese and North Korean troops, and not a single soldier from their group was lost. And it might just sound like a cool military thing, but there's a story in the Book of Mormon very similar where a group of 2,000 people stands against an army of thousands and not a single one dies. And it happens multiple times because of their faith in God. And military strategists and stuff have looked at that and said someone should have died. Like they were in very precarious situations, but under like a couple hundred people standing against 4,000, and not a single one died, and they killed hundreds of the opposing soldiers and took hundreds of prisoners. That's one.
Is that good or bad, bro? Hold on. What are we saying here? That doesn't sound godly to me.
Sounds godly that the people who, like, they were preserved, I'm saying.
Yeah, but why did God pick one side?
I mean, they were defending their position, I would say.
Oh, sorry. Dang,
They
I
were
just
defending themselves and their lives, and they had faith that they would be preserved. And they were, from the people who were attacking them. They were miraculously preserved.
That's always tough for me, man. Like when we talk about war stuff and then God like doing something for one side, that's always really, really tough for me. Because
I'm not going to get into any of those implications. This is just showing evidence of miracles in the church, reasons that.
But as soon as you say it's a miracle, right, we're now saying that God chose another side. Right?
Well, I mean, is it a miracle that 240 soldiers defending a position defended against 4,000 opposing soldiers and not a single one?
You know what would be cooler to me? If God came down on the field and everybody was shooting and no one could kill anyone. That story right there would make me believe in God. But it seems to be that every ancient story or every story about war. It's just people dying. It'd be so amazing for me if your book or the Bible or any other book talked about God actually stopping violence. God never stops violence. That seems like a human
Okay, let's go
made
to another
thing to
story.
me.
This wasn't one that I was going to mention originally, but
Hold on, though. You gotta hear what I said, though. And I need.
okay.
So, I like that's important to me that there's a bunch of terror and murdering and war, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, those people are on God's side, so it's cool. But in reality, God could show God's self by literally stopping all harm. I thought about this before where free will could still exist, but every time you tried to harm somebody else, you just couldn't. But you could still try. That still would be free will. And then that would be upholding the other person's free will because I should have a free will not to die.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Source to show evidence of a supernatural experience. And it's very tied into a story in the Book of Mormon. I'm not saying war is good, and God doesn't think war is good either. In fact,
You're cutting out a little bit more. Did you
40
move?
people in position.
You heard me?
Yes, I have moved.
Yeah, wait. Let's
Yeah,
wait. Let's wait till you stop a little bit because you're cutting out pretty bad.
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's just an experience that I'm sharing. It's termed. You could look it up. It happened during the Korean War. Modern example of God preserving a group of 240 soldiers.
Dang, bro, I don't know what happened, but it's not working right now, man. I don't know what changed.
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Take your time. You've been sounding fine until now. You guys don't forget to click your buttons. Let's keep this channel growing. We've been doing really well, so I appreciate everybody's support. Just make sure you keep the YouTube algorithm happy. I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. All right, go ahead if you want to try. Bro, why is God trying to stop your mic?
No, that's Satan trying to stop it.
We didn't even talk about you believing in Satan, by the way. All right, I think you sound okay now. Let's try it.
Okay, great. So the second miracle that I was going to bring up is the day God's power is well. This is a miracle specifically with Joseph Smith. It's where him and a large on the
Dang, bro. I'm sorry, man. We might have to stop for now. And it's really bad, by the way. Really, really, really bad. So we've been talking a while, bro. It's all we've been talking for almost an hour and a half. I think almost 2 hours. Which I love, by the way. But you're really cutting out now. And I'll be back if we need to re-go on this. I take notes, and I remember what everybody was talking about. So I don't know, bro. I don't want to. I know, but I want you to be able to share what you're saying, and you're cutting out a lot.
Okay.
If I
We'll
get
try
cut out
what
again,
Yeah, we'll try one more
I don't know.
time. Yeah, all right, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
last chance.
All right.
I was gonna say a story from Joseph Smith. His healing miracles is called "A Day of God's Power," and basically the story is they're the Latter-day Saints. There were a few thousand of them at this point. They'd all gotten kicked out of their homes because the state of Missouri, back then it was a territory of Missouri, I think. They didn't like them because they were anti-slavery and Missourians were pro-slavery, and so they basically kicked a bunch of the Latter-day Saints out of their homes, and so they were stranded in camps on the banks of the Mississippi River. This is in the early 1840s, I think, or late 1830s. And there was a cholera outbreak or malaria because of all the mosquitoes that were there. And so hundreds of them had gotten sick and were basically on their deathbeds. And then Joseph Smith asked one of the elders of the church to give him a blessing. Joseph was one of the people who was sick. And so he gave Joseph a blessing, and Joseph was healed right away. And he stood up, and then he blessed his wife, and then he blessed another elder. And he sent 2 elders one way, and him and another elder went the other way. And that night, they healed over 100 people from cholera. And this is a well-documented miracle. Tons of people talk about it in their journals. That was a personal experience that they had.
So you said like 1830 through like
late 1830s, yeah.
1846, all the way up to that, Illinois.
It was a little bit before 1846.
I got Mormon War in Missouri.
Look up Day of God's Power, Joseph Smith.
Okay. You said your parents believe this too?
Yeah. Okay, it was July 1839 is when it happened.
Yep, I got that. 1839. Mormon. Bless the six in the house. It's near the river, Mississippi.
And I will say, as a side note, Joseph Smith isn't the one that wrote this down and shared this with everyone as proof that he's a prophet. All the people around him are the ones who recorded the miracle. He didn't record it himself.
And I think you already answered this, but just to be sure, you would accept, like, if a Catholic or Pentecostal or Muslim Hindu said stories about healing too?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, not much to say if you're going to be honest about that.
This is just a very recent, well, speaking in terms of history, it's a very recent example. A huge mass healing by a man who claimed to be a prophet of God. So
this may be a tougher question for you. What about all the Joseph Smith criminal accusations?
Like I said, a bunch of people hated him. He was not convicted of a single crime that they accused him of. Like, there's never a single conviction.
What, didn't he die before that happened?
Oh, they murdered him. He was taken to court multiple times. There's actually a funny story. One time he was taken to court, and he was found guilty by the judge, but he was found guilty of casting out an evil spirit. He basically healed someone of being possessed by a devil, but the judge was like, you know what, though? There's no law against that, and so I can't convict you of anything, so you're free to go.
All right, I'll look more into that. And if you call up again, we'll go from there. But honestly, bro, what's your name again? I apologize.
Ammon.
I think you know I'm Jay. I honestly enjoyed talking to you, bro. And I'm so serious, by the way. Anybody thinks I'm not serious, I'm so serious. I will do your list here, and it may take a while because I want to do it honestly. It's not like I'm going to talk to you next week and be like, hey, I did all these things, nothing worked. I will, when I'm in the accepting mood, try all of your stuff. Just know whenever I bring it back up to you, I truly tried. And I want to hear your response, or if it happens, I'm going to tell you. So that's all I can say for now, bro.
1,000 of your subscribers will join the church.
Yeah, right.
Let me
All
ask in
right.
the chat right now. If he gets baptized, will y'all join the church?
Hell no.
Put a Y in the chat if it's yes. I'm gonna put a Y.
Hell no. But no. I'll somebody put Y. Okay.
That was me.
Oh, I didn't see the Bible Blaster part until the end. But yeah, man. Did you have anything else to say? I like to cut conversations before they get boring, and I think our conversation has been good. So I would like to. We'll end it right now, and then if we continue it, we continue it.
Of course. And I think I included one more thing in the little message that I sent you about the what was it? The 3 and 8 witnesses of the Book of Mormon. That's a compelling thing to look into. It's in my message. If you want to look into that next time I talk, I'll probably bring that.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
See you later.
Peace. Thank you. All right. Anybody else ready to step up? I don't know if he was MAGA, he was hiding it well. That's all I gotta say. I've talked to plenty of MAGA people, and I mean he could be MAGA, whatever. But I've talked to a lot of MAGA people. We didn't get into politics, so that is what it is. I'm not gonna, like I said, I did enjoy talking to him. That's it. I'll say it like that. So yeah, like I'm not gonna add anything to anybody that, like, I don't know. I enjoy talking to him. I'll say that. That's it. All right. We got anybody that wants to have a chat? I'm gonna give y'all about 10 minutes. If nobody comes in, we'll go ahead and end it. I'm a small streamer, so if I can get 1 or 2 people, that's honestly golden. I see you guys having some conversations in the chat. I'm all for that. Just make sure, guys, in the chat, I really want to I really want to have a place where we can have real conversations. So if you're making claims and somebody's asking you to provide evidence, let's be fair to the other party, whatever you believe in. Let's be honest and go and like really have a conversation. If you guys are having a conversation in chat, be fair and be respectful to the other person, no matter what side you're on. We have to live together, guys. You're not getting rid of either side. I don't care whether you're an atheist or whether you're a cold-hearted believer. You can't get rid of everybody. Like, we have to find a way to be able to talk to each other and figure this shit out, man. That's all I'm saying. We have to, guys. We have to. All right. And it doesn't mean not question the shit out of somebody. If somebody's making claims, you question the shit out of them. And then I'm like, if you're making a claim and you don't like it being questioned, don't make the claim. But there just needs to be a space where we can talk. And talking doesn't mean accepting what anybody says, by the way. I literally mean being able to have a conversation. So that's all I got to say on that. Anybody want to come up? Like I said, we can grow this into a fun thing if we do it right. And I think that'd be beneficial for everybody. All I ask is don't lie. That's it. Don't lie to keep your belief. Don't lie. That's all I ask. I can't stand it. I'm okay with somebody saying I could be wrong and I still believe, rather than making up a BS lie to make your belief true. Like, I literally can't stand when people do that. Like, if you want me to tilt, that's the closest way to get me to tilt. Never flame, never tilt, but I get close to tilting when people do that because it's not necessary. It's just really not necessary. All right. So I don't see anybody stepping up. And like I said, I like to end my streams before it gets boring, by the way. So we will continue on Friday. I'm going to try to get a video for tomorrow. Please, you guys, go and support it and just continue the growth of the channel. As always, I'm Jay. Don't forget to throw away your feelings, open your minds, and question your beliefs. Thank you guys for joining. Have a good Wednesday tomorrow. Peace, guys. Thank you.